My parents sold their house and handed $550,000 to my brother as a wedding gift. I found out through Facebook. Then months later they showed up at my front door, suitcases in hand, and said, "We'll be staying here now. It's only fair." They thought I'd cave. They were wrong. If you've ever been overlooked, dismissed, or treated like your boundaries didn't matter, hit subscribe right now, like this video, and comment if you believe respect is earned, not demanded. Because this is about justice that finally showed up at the front door. I always knew my parents loved my brother more. They never said it out loud, but favoritism doesn't need words. It lives in tone, in excuses, in who gets forgiven, and who gets blamed. Growing up, my brother was the golden child. If he failed a class, it was because the teacher didn't understand him. If I got a B+, I was asked why it wasn't an A. Still, I learned early that complaining only made things worse. So I worked harder. I paid my own way through college. I took extra shifts. I saved aggressively. By my early 30s, I'd done something no one in my family expected. I bought my own house, alone. No co-signer, no family help. Just me, signing papers with shaking hands and a heart that felt like it might burst. My parents' response? "Oh, that's nice." No celebration, no pride, just polite disinterest. Then came my brother's engagement. Suddenly, my parents were glowing, talking nonstop about venues, guest lists, appearances. And then without warning they sold their house. The house we grew up in. The house they always claimed was our inheritance. They sold it, and gave every penny $550,000 to my brother as a wedding gift. I didn't hear it from them. I saw it on Facebook. A smiling photo, champagne glasses. The caption read, "So grateful to my amazing parents for giving us the perfect start." My stomach dropped. That wasn't just money. That was security. That was everything they ever said they were saving for later. When I finally asked them about it, my mom sighed like I was the inconvenience. "Well," she said, "you're already settled. Your brother needed help. He had a high-paying job, a dual-income household, no debt." But I bit my tongue. Again. Months passed. I moved on, or at least I tried to. Until one Saturday morning, my doorbell rang. I opened the door and froze. My parents stood there with suitcases. Behind them, my brother's car idled at the curb. My mom smiled brightly. "We've decided to stay with you for a while." I laughed because surely this was a joke. Then my dad stepped forward and said the words that changed everything. "It's only fair. We paid for his future. You can help with ours." The air felt thick. My chest tightened. They hadn't asked. They hadn't warned me. They had decided. I told them no, calmly, clearly. My mom's smile vanished. "Don't be selfish," she snapped. "This is family." My brother finally spoke. "You've got space. And honestly, that house wouldn't exist without us raising you." Something in me cracked. They weren't asking for help. They were claiming ownership. That night, my parents texted nonstop. Accusations, guilt, threats to tell everyone how ungrateful I was. And that's when I realized something. They expected compliance because it had always worked before. So I stopped reacting emotionally and started preparing legally. I pulled up my house documents, my mortgage, the deed, my name, and only my name. Then I called a lawyer. I learned something important. In their desperation, my parents had made a huge mistake. They transferred everything to my brother. No assets, no legal claim anywhere. They were effectively homeless, and they expected me to fix it. So I did something they never expected. I sent a single email to my parents, my brother, and politely their lawyer friend, who'd been harassing me with family responsibility nonsense. The email stated they had no legal right to my home. Any attempt to enter would be considered trespassing. Further harassment would be documented. Attached were my deed and a formal cease and desist letter. The response was immediate. My mother called me crying. My father yelled. My brother accused me of betrayal. But something incredible happened inside me. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel small. 2 weeks later, reality hit them. My brother, flush with wedding expenses and luxury upgrades, suddenly realized he didn't want roommates. My parents had nowhere to go. They asked again, this time politely. I invited them over, sat them at my kitchen table, and said calmly, "You chose where your money went. Now you'll live with that choice." I helped them find a small rental. I even paid the first month because I'm not cruel. But I didn't give up my home, my peace, my boundaries. My brother stopped speaking to me. My parents stopped pretending I was wrong. And for the first time ever, I slept soundly. A few months later, my brother's marriage started cracking. Turns out money doesn't buy maturity. My parents called less, spoke softer, listened more. They never apologized, not fully, but they never crossed my threshold again without permission. And that house, it became something more than walls. It became proof that I wasn't the backup plan. I wasn't the afterthought. I wasn't the safety net for everyone else's bad decisions. I was the owner of my life, my space, my worth. Sometimes revenge isn't loud. It isn't cruel. It's quiet, firm, and final. Boundaries don't destroy families. Entitlement does. If this story hit close to home, like this video, subscribe for more stories where justice actually wins. And tell me in the comments, what's the hardest boundary you've ever had to enforce? Because sometimes, standing your ground is the most powerful revenge of all.